In the winter of 89-7, a rotting human corpse was dug out of its grave, dressed in sacred papal robes, and propped up on a golden throne to stand trial for treason. This was not a ritual of black magic, but an official judicial proceeding of the Roman Catholic Church, presided over by Pope Stephen VI. The defendant on trial was Pope Formosus, who had been dead and buried for over 9 months. To understand how the holiest office in Europe descended into this ghoulish circus, we have to look at the sheer chaos of 9th century Rome. During this era, the papacy was not just a spiritual guide, but a highly coveted, blood-stained political prize. Powerful Italian noble families fought brutal shadow wars to place their own puppets on the throne of St. Peter. Formosus had been a brilliant diplomat, but in navigating these treacherous waters, he made deadly enemies. To secure his position, Formosus had crowned a powerful nobleman named Arnulf of Carinthia as the Holy Roman Emperor. But this act of political survival deeply enraged the rival Spoleto family, who claimed the imperial title for themselves. When Formosus died of a sudden stroke in 89-6, his enemies saw an opportunity for ultimate vengeance. The Spoletos quickly marched on Rome, installing their ally, Pope Stephen VI, onto the papal throne. But simply holding power was not enough for the Spoletos. They demanded a public destruction of the dead pope's legacy. Under intense pressure, Pope Stephen ordered what would become known to history as the Cadaver Synod. Gravediggers broke into the crypt of St. Peter's Basilica, dragging the half-decomposed body of Formosus out of the earth. The putrid corpse was washed, dressed in the finest gold and purple papal vestments, and dragged into the courtroom. They seated the decaying pope on a throne, surrounded by a horrified and sweating assembly of bishops and cardinals. To make this grotesque trial look legal, Pope Stephen appointed a terrified young deacon to stand beside the corpse. This trembling young deacon was forced to act as the defense attorney, speaking on behalf of the rotting remains. Pope Stephen stood up, stepped toward the silent corpse, and began screaming his accusations at the dead man. Stephen bellowed, asking the corpse why he had usurped the apostolic see of Rome in violation of canon law. The terrified deacon would whisper meek denials, speaking for a client that was actively falling apart in front of the court. The stench of decay filled the ancient hall, but the trial continued for hours under the heavy smell of burning incense. As expected, the verdict was predetermined, and Formosus was found guilty on all charges of perjury and illegal rule. The court then pronounced the damnatio memoriae, ordering that all of the dead pope's acts and ordinations be declared null and void. But the horror of the Cadaver Synod did not end with a simple paper decree. To symbolize his unworthiness, the executioners stripped the sacred vestments back off the rotting body. They then hacked off the 3 fingers of the corpse's right hand, which Formosus had used to give holy blessings. The mutilated body was then dragged out of the basilica through the muddy, crowded streets of Rome. A jeering mob watched as the remains of the former pope were cast into the Tiber River like common trash. Yet, the river did not hold onto Formosus's body for long. His body became tangled in a fisherman's nets, who recognized the mangled remains and hid them. But as word of this desecration spread, the citizens of Rome grew deeply horrified by Pope Stephen's bizarre cruelty. Rumors spread that miracles were occurring wherever the dead pope's body was hidden, turning Formosus into a martyr. Just months after the trial, a massive earthquake shook Rome, heavily damaging the very basilica where the trial had occurred. The superstitious public saw this earthquake as a direct sign of God's absolute wrath over the desecration. An angry mob stormed the Vatican, seizing Pope Stephen VI and dragging him down into a dungeon. In August of 89-7, the disgraced Pope Stephen was quietly strangled to death in his prison cell. The next pope, Theodore II, quickly annulled the Cadaver Synod and had Formosus's body retrieved from its hiding place. Formosus was dressed in papal vestments once more and reburied in St. Peter's with full pontifical honors. This macabre trial remains the ultimate symbol of the saeculum obscurum, the dark age of the papacy, when the sacred was utterly consumed by the profane.